Good morning all, and welcome to this morning's live broadcast where we're going to be discussing dimensional printing. I'm Jenna, and this is an exciting topic because dimensional printing is something that has been trending in the industry for all of 2019. So the beginning of 2019, a little bit in 2018, but we're going to see this as a huge trend for the new year. So I want to show you some unique ways that you can bring this in-house and start printing with dimensional finishes so that you can offer and profit from your customers. Feel free to comment in. I always enjoy seeing where you are joining us from. Hi, Nancy and Kristen. Good to see you guys joining us again. But before we dive into the main discussion, let's look at this week's Look of the Week. This was submitted by Skip Davis from D4 Graphics in Pittsburgh. All right, so you are just about 40 minutes from me, so thank you so much for submitting. This look here was done in Premium Plus, which I think just really shows how great of a product this is to work with. We're able to get fine detail, and it's easy to do two color with that tacking method. So thank you for submitting that, Skip. It is a great look. And if you're interested in submitting your looks, you can do so by tagging us on Instagram or by uploading your photos every Saturday on our Facebook page for show and tell. All right, so we do that every Saturday, and then you can also tag us on Instagram as well. Hi, everybody. Thanks for commenting in. Hi, Mike and Tammy. All right, so we're going to go ahead and dive into today's discussion, and that is dimensional printing. All right, so it is an industry buzzword. We're actually seeing it a lot in blogs and updates from different apparel markets. So Impressions talks about it a lot, also Hot Graphics. So we want to show apparel decorators who are using specifically heat printing how they can achieve these finishes and profit from it using these certain products. So the first one we're going to show is a flex style transfer. All right, so this is one we've been talking about a lot because it is newer to the industry because it is like an embossed finish. All right, so it actually has 3D texture throughout the entire transfer, and it actually has patterns woven throughout it. So I'm going to be showing you a pressure sensitive application so that you can see how easy it is to put this transfer onto hard goods because it's great for promotional printing. So I have a mug sourced from Leeds. It is considered a CAD mug, and it has a nice smooth surface. That's what we're really looking for, is a nice smooth flat area to apply this to so that we're able to get a nice durable application. All right, so this works very similarly to how sign vinyl does. So you can see that it has a pressure sensitive adhesive on the back of the transfer, and all you have to do is place it where desired and then just use as much pressure as you can with your fingers to smooth out that area. Get rid of any air bubbles that could possibly be in there. I just use my fingers for this, but if you are wanting to use a harder edge, a squeegee or a edge of a credit card or identification card would work as well. All right, so as soon as I smooth that out, I can just remove this carrier, and then it is complete. All right, so this has amazing dimension. And I'm going to have that camera move in nice and close so that you can see all of the dimension in this transfer. All right, so it actually is popping off of the garment as opposed to just being a flat surface. Now this not only works for hard goods, but it does for soft goods as well, as you can see on some of the garments hanging behind me. All right, so this one specifically has a metallic finish to it. All right, so you're able to achieve a lot of finishes with the product. All right, you can do metallics, you can do gradients, as much detail as you have in a logo that's probably sourced from your customer who is giving you the logos to put on apparel or hard goods for them. You can achieve amazing detail with the product. All right, so that's how easy it is to do the pressure sensitive option. And we recommend waiting and letting this sit for a good 8 to 12 hours before giving to your customer, okay? Because I just applied this. I could probably start picking it off if I wanted to, but the longer that you let this set, the more durable that adhesive is going to grasp on there. All right, so we do see some comments coming in. Mark asked if it is dishwasher safe. So just like the sign vinyl, we don't recommend that they put it in the dishwasher, more of a hand wash type of item, just like sign vinyl. But if they do put it in the dishwasher a couple times, it's not going to hurt or damage it. It's not like it's going to start melting or anything. But just make sure you're telling your customer that we prefer that it is hand washed. All right, hi everyone else commenting in. Of course, if you have any questions, feel free to comment those in at any time. All right, so that is Flex Style, and it is very easy to order. So all you have to really do is upload your artwork to Stahls.com, and then it'll start generating pricing for you. There is going to be a fee for the mold that we have to make for this transfer, but it's not a different fee as opposed to ordering a pressure-sensitive adhesive or a permanent adhesive for heat transfer. Okay, so that is Flex Style. We are going to be bringing out more finishes in that, so stay tuned for whenever we do launch more finishes that you can get with that product. All right, the next application we're going to do is printable glitter. And why this is so huge is because we're able to get multicolor with glitter in-house or through services. So if you do have a solvent or eco-solvent printer, you are able to print glitter flake now. Right? It has that true glitter texture that really pops off the garment and has that true glitter feel to it. So we'll go ahead to the heat press and apply our application. I'm going to be using the Hotronix Fusion, and I already have my 11 by 15 loaded on. All right, I'm going to be working in the landscape view for the platen, and before I heat apply, I'm going to preheat. All right, that preheat is going to allow me to release any moisture or wrinkles in the fabric so that we get a nice application or a durable application with our product. All right, so this is the product printed, cut, and then we're going to heat apply it. So we do have to mask the product after it's printed. I usually go about 4 inches from the collar, or 2 inches from the collar. I usually use 4 fingers to try to line that up. Okay. All right, then use a cover sheet, and we'll apply for the full application. All right, so this application is 302 degrees for 10 seconds. And it is a hot peel, so we don't need to wait for that to cool down in order to peel that. And why this product is so lucrative for a lot of heat printers is because a lot of customers love multicolor with glitter because of the finish that it gives. Right, so we used to run into problems where we couldn't layer glitter in order to get multicolor, or it would just be multiple steps in the artwork creation and the heat application, because they would have to make sure that no colors were being overlapped so that it was nice and durable, or they just didn't want to spend so much time at the heat press applying all those different colors. So here I'm able to get 3 colors with one application, and you can just imagine how much easier this is going to be for those 8 color logos that you might be getting from customers, or anything with gradients and detail. Right, so we're able to get photo quality detail in printable glitter by just using that print cut process. Right, it works also through services, so if you don't have the print cut option in-house, you can always upload your artwork at Stahls.com and achieve that same finish that way. We would just send it to you ready to heat apply. All right, looks like we're getting some other questions coming in. What is the name of that transfer? If you are talking about the one on the mug, that is Flex Style by Stahls. And then this one is printable glitter, or if you're ordering it through services, it would be CAD-CUT or CAD Prints glitter. Okay, moving along, we have a next application of silicone. Okay, so if you are familiar with the transfers or the finish that some of the sports industry leaders like Nike, Under Armour, Adidas, their rubberized logo, it has some dimension to it. So that is what is called silicone, and it used to be only achieved by a very intricate screen print process, but we have made it into a heat transfer vinyl that you can cut on your vinyl cutter or order as a service as well. All right, so we're going to be printing the lower left hemline of these shorts, and you'll see that I am using a gray silicone. All right, this product applies at a nice low temperature. I'm going to move this up a little bit so that pocket isn't causing uneven pressure. Actually pull that out. Okay. All right, so as I was saying, this applies at a nice low temperature so that I can print heat-sensitive items. So any of those performance polys that you typically scorch under high heat, this would be a great product for. I'm going to adjust my pressure. Since I changed out my platen, I need to adjust that so that it is reading at a nice medium pressure. And that'll actually only tack for 5 seconds, and this is a 10-second application, so I'm going to hit that again for an additional 5 seconds there. This is a product that is a cold peel, so we will wait for this to cool, and we will come back to that and peel that later. But you can see with this product, I'm able to achieve a decent amount of detail. All right, we have a little areas in the palm trees that are weeded out, and also very fine text. So you're able to get pretty intricate detail with the product. And one thing that well, a lot of people are using it for are those dye sublimated garments. So if you're working with camo hex or digi camo garments that have been sublimated, this is going to block those dyes from migrating through. So sometimes we have light colored transfers where the dye will just start showing up and changing the finish of what you applied. This is actually going to keep that from happening. All right, also works with regular garment dyes as well. All right, so we can go ahead and peel this back. Right, and it has a nice rubbery finish after it is heat applied. All right, next we are going to be printing dimensional apparel. All right, so dimensional apparel is a lot of those really fuzzy garments such as Sherpa or teddy fleece, anything that has a lot of texture to it already. All right, so this is a huge trend for 2019. We're seeing Sherpa trend a lot with J America, who is the exact supplier for this vest that we'll be applying. All right, so that's J America, Boxer Craft, Pennant Sportswear. They're all starting to have this finish. So it's important as an apparel decorator to be able to apply on a substrate like this. All right, so we're going to actually be using what our heat transfer vinyl is, CAD-CUT Flock. All right, and we're going to be making sure that we are using specific heat accessories so that we are not damaging the Sherpa at all. So Flock typically applies at 330 degrees. We're going to make sure that we are letting this zipper fall off of the side of the garment so that it's not causing uneven pressure. All right, and one other item that we're going to be using is called a Print Perfect pad. And what this does is raises the area of the logo that we're printing. So this looks a lot like a silicone pad, and what we did was cut this down so that we're isolating the certain area of the logo that's being applied. So now that's the only area of the garment that's going to be actually pressed with heat. All right, I'm going to remove this thread so that it doesn't cause any application issue. All right, so we're going to make sure that that logo is fitting on that Print Perfect pad so that it has even pressure. All right, and now we just need to test our pressure with that Print Perfect pad being added in there. All right, so Flock, again, that application is 330 degrees for 18 seconds, and it is a cold peel. For demonstration purposes, I'm just going to apply this at what my heat press is set at now, so you guys don't have to wait for my heat press to heat up another 20 degrees. But I am going to place this on a nice cool surface so that that hot heat is releasing from the garment faster. Sherpa, just because of the nature of the fabric, tends to hold heat a lot. I'm going to let that cool a little bit longer. All right, and then we can peel that carrier back. So whenever you're working with flock on this, whenever flock is heat applied, the transfer tends to get a little bit tackier, especially with this substrate. So you want to remove the carrier from top to bottom, and doing so carefully so that you're not actually ripping the Sherpa out of its thread there. All right, and I go from top to bottom just so that it doesn't distort the image at all, because if you go at an angle, sometimes it can start to look a little wrinkled. All right, but you can see that that transfer is down in that Sherpa. It's not just laying on top. All right, so that adhesive sinks down into the base of where the Sherpa is threaded, and it's not just sitting on top, so I can't actually pick this up or off from the garment. All right, so what's nice about flock is it has a nice dimensional finish as well. It's not just a flat heat transfer vinyl. It actually has a suede-like feel to it. And that's why it's paired so nicely with dimensional garments such as the Sherpa, because it takes on that finish as well. So it's raised, it's textured, and what a lot of people like about the product is it feels similar to embroidery whenever it's a nice tight stitch. So some people will use this to mimic embroidery if they're not offering that in-house, or if some embroiderers need a finish that looks like that because their machine is tied up with something else, they'll use this flock as a substitute. Okay, so far we've covered our flex style transfers on hard goods and soft goods. Then we went over the printable glitter, silicone 200, flock, and now we're going to do our last application, which is sim stitch. All right, so why people like the sim stitch or the twill is because it has a laser etched finish on it that gives the look of stitches, and actually a zigzag stitch. So this is twill that we have laser cut to simulate stitches. All right, so you can see that zigzag stitch starting to come through. And what we're going to do with this is actually layer glitter flake on top of it to give it the ultimate dimensional finish. Then we're going to be using CAD prints twill as well. So this twill is the same feel and texture of sim stitch, but what we're doing is printing it full color so that you're able to get full color twill with just a heat press. All right, so we'll head over to the press and apply this last application. All right, so we're gonna load on this blazer, making sure that the seams and buttons are off from causing uneven pressure. All right, and typically this fold is about right here, so I'm gonna leave that there just while I'm lining this up so I know where to start my transfer so that it's still seen with that folding over. All right, I usually, just as a rule of thumb, go center of where the seam meets the collar and drop down from there about 6 inches. And what's nice about this application is I can apply them together because the sim stitch does not have a carrier on it. All right, so you can leave that there. We're going to cover with the cover sheet and apply for the full application. Now I am going to need to test my pressure again. I'm going to increase that about 2 turns of the pressure knob up here because we removed that flexible, or not the flexible application pad, the Print Perfect pad that we had in there from the first application. All right, now glitter flake does have a carrier on it, so I am going to need to remove that. All right, and these are just pre-cut letters that you can order from the website, and you can actually get these in 5-packs and even kits. So if you foresee yourself using a lot of these, the kits are huge for saving on waste and having them in stock just to pull for customers for a quick turn. All right, so that is sim stitch paired with glitter flake, and now we're going to apply that perma twill on the left chest there. Right, I'm removing that inner seam and causing an uneven pressure. Going to place that twill, and I'm going to hold this up real quick so that you guys can see the finish of that twill. So it does have a true twill finish, and it's just printed so that you guys can get full color images and logos with this product. All right, so that folds there. Making sure I'm center of where that seam meets the collar. Okay. Now I definitely want to make sure I'm using a cover sheet with this, especially craft paper, because it works as a good throwaway item or carrier. This is actually sublimated to get that full color finish. All right, so whenever it's heated up, that sublimation ink is actually going to start getting activated and start transferring. So I would rather it transfer to my cover sheet here as opposed to the top of my platen. Now I can just throw this away and make sure that I'm not using it on another application so it doesn't transfer to anything else. All right, so we'll unload that. And now you can see the finishes together. All right, so we're able to get a true twill finish, laser etched with the pre-cut letters. We do not laser etch the CAD prints twill, so keep that in mind between the two. If you are going to do sim stitch, you can order it as sublimated sim stitch, but this is going to be considered a different product where it's just CAD prints twill only, not sim stitch. All right, but that is going to be able to give you dimension, something that looks like it's embroidered, feels like it's embroidered, but all you need is a heat press with that. All right, so a lot of embroiderers are even using this for whenever they have a job that they're running on their embroidery machine. It's tied up, so they just need to fulfill this. What's crazy is we will realize the difference that this isn't an actual real stitch, but sometimes our customers can't even tell the difference. So keep that in mind as something that you can use to offer your customers that has that embroidered look and feel. All right, before we sign off, let's go ahead and answer some questions that came in. Robert, good to see you at ISS. Yes, I was there last week as well. It was a great show. And does the Permatwill have the zigzag stitch? No, it does not. All right, so that covers all of the applications, and just a few announcements before we sign off. We do have some trade shows that we will be attending and doing education upcoming. So this weekend we'll be in Phoenix for the NBM show, and we'll have 2 classes there and also a booth, so feel free to stop by and see us. And then also in Fort Worth for the ASI show. All right, NBM does a lot of digital printing, single color printing, so you'll see us there demoing a lot of new product that we just launched. And then ASI is going to be more geared towards those promotional products and things that you can offer new to your customers for the new year. Also, we have a workshop Wednesday coming up at all of our showroom locations. All right, so in March, the 13th and the 14th, you can see there we're doing Vinyl Cutter Boot Camp on Roland GS24 and Graphtec CE6000. And then we'll also be doing Heat Transfer Vinyl 101 and 201 classes that are going to show some next level ideas that you can be doing with heat transfer vinyl. All right, so if you guys are interested in signing up for the Workshop Wednesday education, you can find that on the Stahls events page. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I'll see you next time.